Hi, I'm Domino SNK.
I'm Devin3000.
Crashbfan.
Impact.
And we're here to talk about Sackboy in consideration of the upcoming fall patch. They'll be coming out, in the fall, worked by Sony Santa Monica, and they'll be listening to feedback. So we have two very well-known Sackboys here to give their input on what Sony Santa Monica should look for, where Sackboy stands, things of concern glitch-wise. So, yeah, moving on. Crash, where do you think, where does Sackboy currently stand, matchup-wise? Do you feel like he has, a good amount of, matchups in his favor, or?
Is he well-rounded, or does he have just, a lot of spikes and, stuff?
Right, lopsided, he wins this really hard, or he loses this really hard, etc., etc.
The matchups that Sackboy does win are very lopsided, and the ones that he loses are very lopsided. And it's because of the playstyles of different characters. Now, a lot of characters kind of shut down his projectile game, and some other ones shut down his combo game because his combo game is so slow. So, basically, anyone that's faster than him or more, and less punishable than him, will destroy him. But besides that, he's actually very high in the tier list because he's able to run away and throw things at people all day.
Impact. Name some examples of matchups that Sackboy just annihilates people in.
I feel like Dante, because it's really hard to touch him, especially when he's camping in the corner. While Raiden, it'd be really easy for him to just touch him and kill him while he's in the air, but Dante really can't kill from the air, and he's not getting much AP because of how small he is whenever he's doing combos and drop it easier. So I feel like he really annihilates Dante.
Okay, alright, now for polar opposite, what would be just a matchup where Sackboy is just kind of struggling?
Kratos?
Ratchet and Kratos, but because Kratos is just, you can't get near him with his chains, and then Ratchet's zoning, the little things that shoot out everywhere, it just, you can't do anything, and it's just, those two are the worst. It's really hard to do anything. I don't know.
So basically, in the tier list, Sackboy is high in the tier list, but not very dominant. Why do you think that?
I've said for a while he's at least in the top 10. It's because of his supers, and he gains his level 2 and 1 very fast, and he has confirms for all of them. And
including the level 2?
Yeah, level 2 has more confirms than the 1.
Wow.
But the reason that people, the level 2 hasn't been complained about until recently, because me and a couple others have started using it raw and showing how it can't be escaped by very many people. So that's a major complaint right now. But I don't think most supers should be a kill anyway. It's just that this one, I don't know.
You mean most level 2 should be a kind of a more,
Level 2 should be more guaranteed than level 1 because of how much they.
Well, yeah, that's just how it goes. 2 is better than 1, and 3 is better than 2. And each is exponentially better than the previous. So level 2, you should be guaranteed at least 1 kill. In Sackboy's case, it is just that 1 kill, and it's easier to land than.
It is 1 kill and no more.
Right, exactly. Because it's limited by because it's a 1 strike thing. It's easier to kill with because it doesn't have that potential of double kill that other supers have.
Right.
And you gotta think about free for all, because I feel like that's what they're trying to balance it around.
Yeah, that's true too.
But free for all, the only time you're gonna get more than 1 or 2 is if you're catching people off guard in a big group. And of course, you might get grabbed or something, and I really feel like it's balanced. Because, I don't know, I don't think it's OP or anything.
Right, okay.
It's been complained about due to the reduced cost.
I really don't
What, Crash, what did it used to cost, and what does it cost now?
At the beginning of the game, it was 325.
Right.
It was then nerfed to 400, which is the maximum.
Mm-hmm.
And then they brought it back again down to 325, so it's back to what it used to be normally. 2 of them can be used before level 3.
But, right. Okay, that makes sense. So essentially, if someone were to do that, that would just be, admittedly, that would just be bad gameplay decisions, since they just need a little bit more for the level 3.
They would need about 50.
The only time I see it's really useful is in Sackboy Dittos, because say you killed him once or something. I think it was Genta did that to me, and it was basically we had like the same amount of AP, but we each had 2 stocks left, and he just thought about it, and he used it on me, and he beat me because of that.
It's useful in timed whenever you can't build up to level 3, so you just want to get 2 or more kills with that at the last like 20 seconds.
Okay. Before we move on to the next topic, what would you say are Sackboy's best tools? Like overall, these moves are used the most in each fight.
The most useful tool is his 20 AP jelly, which used to give 10, now it gives 20.
But it still shows getting 10. And I also think the electric pad, because it just gets you out of everything.
Okay. What about bounce pad?
Oh my. The bounce pad is a recent abused tool, because before the patch, the most abused tool was the shock pad because of how fast it was. After the patch, the bounce pad is the most abused tool because of how fast it is. And if you whiff any move and the other person doesn't punish you with a kill, you can do the bounce pad and you'll be out like with no problem.
And there's a glitch with Raiden. It's like a certain way. Whenever one of his touch of deaths, you bounce pad out. And it's like a netcode glitch, and it just you hear the bounce pad bouncing, and you see your character like teabagging kind of, and you see Raiden in the gravity motion, but you're like teabagging on the other side, and all of a sudden it just shows you on the ground, so like you can basically get out of his touch of death.
Oh yeah, he's the only character that can get out of touch of death because of how fast the bounce pad is.
To sum it up, Sackboy's the speed of his pads is essentially will decide where Sackboy falls, right?
Well, it's literally the fastest thing in the game because it gets him. You know those little grab setups where you do a bud drop on someone, you can grab them after they stand up.
Right.
You can't do that to Sackboy because of how fast the bounce pad is. No other character can do that.
So basically, what I'm hearing is that it's because of the speed of the pads. And Sackboy's overall, his general evasion. That's why he stands pretty high tier. Is that right?
Because he has trouble getting AP stolen. He has trouble getting killed.
And characters have trouble touching him and getting their own AP.
Yes.
Okay. I think that's pretty comfortable for.
It's Sackboy's slipperiness.
Right.
Small hitbox, tools to get him out of everything.
So moving on to our next topic.
What could we fix their faults, or what could we do to make them better without making them ridiculous? And what should be tweaking for the characters? What buffs do they need? What nerfs do they need?
You reduce the bounce pad just so you can get out of less things, but you can still get out of things.
Bounce pad can be fixed by about 3 or 4 frames of startup, so that it's not the fastest thing in the game.
Now, when you're talking about the bounce pad, you mean the bounce pad that launches him up, right? Not the one that he holds.
Yeah. No, the one that he holds actually has the same properties anyway.
Yeah.
You can get him out of a lot of things as well, but that's not as much abuse because it's not as guaranteed as the launch one.
And if you miss, you get punished.
Okay.
Down square is kind of balanced because it has bad recovery.
Okay, because I remember, because you can use that to get out of, any grab or something.
No, you have to use the launching bounce pad, and then you can do that bounce pad to get out of it.
I see. Okay.
So, what can be done without making Sackboy become the next Raiden, where he kind of just annihilates everything around him?
Well, he really can't get to that point because of his moveset and everything, and I don't really see what they could do to give him more confirmed or something like air to air or anything like that. So
he has one combo starter. It's the jetpack. It's a slow, punishable move.
Slow, punishable, and very easily avoidable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I found several combos that start off with a shock pad, but that's also not going to land very much.
Right, and that's just player mistake if they fall into it, and you have to read that.
Mm-hmm. There's also the fact that, you'd agree that Sackboy is a very campy character, right?
He is probably the best.
Yeah, exactly. He's the best camper. Do you think there'd be any sort of tweaks in his moveset that would make him not as campy, but as effective?
Well, that's his whole playstyle. That's why his combo game is not very good.
He
only has one combo starter.
Right. He just waits for you to approach, and he just uses all of his tools because he's placing obstacles. So, okay.
He puts as many objects. I think only Emmett puts more than him. It's the kind of struggles that he has because He beats characters that cannot get around projectiles, but he also loses to anyone that can and has a better combos than him.
Right. So like, regardless of any moveset tweaks, he's just inherently just a campy character in general. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Okay.
Unless you just want to make this cake useless and this jelly useless.
Yeah.
Okay. Just curious about the jelly. What is its durability, by the way?
It's really like indestructible. It's crazy.
It doesn't have any armor. It just doesn't die. I think the only thing that destroys it. The only thing that destroys it is Isaac's buzzsaw, which is also indestructible.
So how do you feel about the cake change? Do you feel that it should be reset to what it was, where the cake stays out indefinitely, or do you feel that the 3-second lifespan is fine enough?
I got a reason for that nerf, and it's because of the developer said that it was a glitch, and I know this glitch. If you reflected too many cakes and they were on the field at the same time, if they hit this giant stack of cakes, the game would freeze.
Really?
And I thought it was a very lazy nerf because they could have easily fixed the game crash without nerfing the move.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to go back because
on top
ability.
of the shock pad.
Well,
I mean, like at the very least, what could if we had them out indefinitely instead of making that a time limit thing. You can make it regardless of whether it's reflected or not. If you send out a new one, the old one disappears.
Yes.
Like
that's how it should be.
That makes sense too. You know, I mean, I personally enjoyed creating a minefield of endless cakes by walking through them with my barrel. I loved doing that. But I mean, I always kind of thought, I was like, when I first reflected that, I was like, does it go away when Sackboy sends out a new one? Oh, it doesn't. You know, like, it kind of makes sense that it should go away because, you know, then it's just consistent with what happens when he shoots out a second cake, you know? So, like, I think it should just disappear regardless of whether it was reflected or not.
And it was a very lazy nerf, and I feel like it should just go back to where it was. Just to, I mean, because cake became just very underused now.
Yeah,
and
I can see how that happened.
Recovery.
It's a very flawed move with bad recovery frames, and it doesn't have too much use anymore.
I still think with everyone else getting nerfed, and if it stays out, I feel like that'll somehow make him even more powerful. So I feel like it should stay how it is now, because I think that would make it more balanced.
I mean, it wasn't a big deal.
If it goes back to normal, that's like 2 mines, and that can be more deadly against people.
2 mines.
Let me see.
What would be 2 mines?
Okay.
Shock pad and that. I see your point. I mean, I'm not really gonna speak as much about Sackboy because I don't know much about it. But like, I see shock pad because I see shock pad as more of a defensive type thing. Like, the cake is more akin to a mine because, like, you stay near your shock pad. You don't drop your shock pad and then leave it. You need it near you because you have no, like, you don't have any close quarters combat. You have to keep them out and then try and punish them.
Imagine this. Sackboy goes in the corner, shoots a cake at the wall, puts an electric pad in front of him, puts a fan, and he's set.
Because when he keeps the cake above him on the wall, so then he has like protection from in front of him and above him. Yeah, no, that's a pretty valid point.
So everything else about his normals are all perfectly fine, correct? The AP, the range, I remember that you were saying though that there was the Grabinator, the up square, could use some tweaking though.
Right. The up square has been needed to be changed for a very long time. It needs a simple fix. It needs to be able to track, and it needs to be able to be faster, because it's only used in combos anyway. It needs to be a good combo tool instead of dropping every 50% of the time.
Okay, so better tracking on the up square, correct?
Better tracking and better speed, which would help his combos, because right now the thing is too slow and it doesn't track them very well, so it just goes off on its own way and it misses them. It misses about half the cast. If you try to do square, square, up, square, it just misses almost half the cast.
So the inconsistency is a big issue then.
It's a big issue with his combo ability, which is why he has to camp the way that he does.
Because you go up and try to combo, you drop it, and you just die for it.
So essentially, it's because it's because it's not as rewarding due to how inconsistent it is that Sackboy needs to sit in the corners, correct?
Yeah.
Alright, so that actually answers my question before. So there is something that would make him be slightly less campy in the sense that he actually could have something where it'd be worth some sort of risk, because then he can actually land a combo and then get some decent AP.
I used to be like a melee Sackboy, and I would rarely camp anytime, and I would just combo all the time. And then lately it just drops every time, and I've just been resorting to camping because I'm just like, alright, I'm not gonna drop or risk getting a drop combo and die for it.
Okay.
So, Priest Gravener, what sacrifice to his camping do you think should be made to promote more melee-oriented Sackboy?
More aggression.
Yeah.
That's a tough one because
Yeah.
I think everything has been nerfed already by his camping abilities.
True, but, well, okay, so far listed as the nerfs you have reduced this. Or do you believe that the reduced startup speed to the bounce pad and the would be enough, really?
I do believe that because he wouldn't be able to escape, he wouldn't be able to have such mobility as well as being able to
Teleport.
zone out.
You know, if we have increased, you know, if we give him where he is allowed to be a little bit more aggressive, you know, it's still going to be a tough thing. It's just it's the same risk but higher reward, because now, you know, you don't have a chance of dropping your combo. It's, you know, if you know how to execute your combo, you're being rewarded for that. So, like, I mean, I think a lot of people problem with it is with Sackboy is the fact that level 3 equals game, GG. How do you feel about that, like, just being 2 kills, just like everyone else's level 3s that are quote-unquote good?
You have the ability to get 4 kills, so...
Well, I mean, in a 1v1 setting, because, yeah, in a 1v1 setting, 2 kills, and in a 2v2 setting, 4 kills.
No. You can still get the 3 kills, because collecting all the AP, or at least most of it,
that'll be fixed.
will get you close to level 1, then the headbutt to level 1 gets you your level 1 kill.
Well, that'll be fixed.
No, I'm saying it's like nerfing the time, how long the level 3 lasts, so that you don't...
It needs to be balanced. It needs to be balanced out so that the bubbles aren't so fast.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it'd be
yeah,
something
yeah.
akin to, like, Big Daddy's level 3, where you can pretty much get 2. If you mess up once, you still have a chance to get the second one, but that'd be it.
Either leave it alone, leave the bubbles at the speed they're at now, which is decently put, or you can reduce the time but make it back to how it originally was, with the bubbles being pretty slow.
Yeah, no, I can see that
Still
as
get 3
fine.
kills with both of those options.
I mean,
The issue, like you said though, the level 2 is pretty good.
The idea is that if you build to level 3, like, just like Sly, you build to level 3, you're guaranteed 2 kills, right? And then you have to work for your 3rd kill with either a level 1 or a level 2, or if push come to shove, you build another level 3. Now, the idea is that if your level 3 is nerfed where you only get 2 kills maximum in a 1v1 setting, given now that you have, like, more options with slightly increased more aggression, where you can build AP faster, you know, you'll be able to build your AP where you'll get your level 1 and you'll get even closer to your level 2, which level 2 is pretty much GG after that if you've landed your level 3 in that. I mean, yeah.
I don't think his level 3 only being 2 kills would make it obsolete, because
He would
level
not
2s,
need a need for it anymore.
he wouldn't need it anymore.
Because then he could use his level 2 instead.
You could use 2 level 2s without having to get level 3. I
Right,
just
but
really
that's
think it would make it
fall into
obsolete.
the same category as something akin to Big Daddy, where, you know, level 3 is always 2 kills. He can always, although on the way, he can pop 2 level 2s. Depending on the player's skill, he could actually just manage to get him, if that makes
But
sense.
see, this wouldn't really matter on skill anymore, just matter on being patient and waiting for them to stop and kill him with level 2.
It would make his level 3 obsolete, which is the problem, because then you're only going to see level 2s instead of only seeing level 3s.
Well, I mean, my level 3 is slightly, like, if my level 3 is slightly over 2 level 2s, you know, and in each of my level 2s is 1 kill, and my level 3 is 2 kills, you know. If I want, I could just go for 3 level 2s in the game and take the stocks that way. I'm building the same amount of AP, you know.
What if they were to, what if they were to increase the AP cost for level 2 so that you could only, so that right before you hit level 3, you could pop a level 2 and you'd be halfway to level 2 again.
Well, they would have changed it 4 times, which is pretty crazy.
Well, the fact of how many times something gets changed is irrelevant. It doesn't really matter. We're talking, it's whether if it's still unbalanced or not, and whether it's a good idea to change it in this mode or not. How many times it's been changed is irrelevant. If it gets changed again, it gets changed again. So like, yeah, if then what Domino said is like you make it the level 2. You said more expensive, so that
it'd be like, all right, so like he doesn't get 2 level 2s before popping to 3. He'd get a level 2 and a level 1.5.
Right, and so then you have an option to select between level 3 or going for another level 2.
Right.
So do you want his meter gain to be back at what it was before Zeus and Isaac?
It's something
but
in
with
terms
crap,
of like
crap
to pick up for
supers.
the fact that if his aggression was to be improved, aka the Grabinator combos being less risk, the reward for that would be obviously the AP, but he'd have to work for a little bit more since his AP gain would be a lot better. If that makes sense. So imagine getting near to level 3, you can either do the level 3 and get your 2 kills, or you can do pop a level 2, get your 1 kill, and then from there decide if you want to keep going for level 2s or just finish it off with the level 3.
Right, like say for example, you land your jetpack early on game and you get a level 1 confirmed, right? Now you know you have 2 stocks left. You might want to just
Play it safe and
go for the level 3, and then you're guaranteed the game, you know? And you know this lets you have options. You know, you want to see how, based on how the game, whether you should play it safe and go for level 3, or based on how the momentum of the game is changing and stuff, whether you should just use your level 3s, your level 2s, or like go for another level 1 or something.
It's for the sake of the overall health of the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I have an idea. This would pretty much change the whole thing, but leaving it the same. Now, we all know that all Sackboy has to do, and this is something that's complained about a lot, what he has to do is he only has to touch you and you die.
Uh-huh.
Right.
What if I propose that we keep the same timer, the same kind of, you know...
But then he has to use an attack.
He has to use an attack to kill them, which wouldn't, I mean...
Would it be any attack, or would it be like a certain amount of AP attack, like 15?
Just maybe any attack. I think that would reduce the 3 stock.
Yeah.
And it would be tough to do because there's a 1 second window in which you can get the 3rd kill. If you don't hit that attack on the last second, then you don't get the kill.
Okay, that actually does seem pretty viable.
Yeah.
Next to them, Sackboy tries to go headbutt, he misses. Well, there you go. He forfeit.
Yeah, the recovery would be 2 more.
Exactly. Or if he tries for a Grabinator and he just times it wrong, well, there he forfeits a kill again, or a 3 stop.
I can see that. I could see that being a thing.
Since they have invincibility frames at the beginning of their respawn, you kind of got to judge on whenever they're not going to be invincible.
Right.
So you could misjudge it and accidentally give them too much time, and then you run out of time for the level 3 on the 3 stop.
So essentially, what you're proposing is for the level 3, make it akin to Sweet Tooth and Nariko's, where you just need smart reads.
Yes.
Okay. Actually, that does sound pretty.
Yeah.
That does kind of fall into a line. What about the bubbles though? Do you feel like there should be as many bubbles, or just cut the number of bubbles?
Oh, the AP bubbles?
Yeah.
Those should be gone in an items off match. Those should just be gone.
Yeah.
Items off, none of those, please.
All right, that's a pretty. I won't disagree to that.
Sackboy spawns 160 AP that he can get during his level 3. Those should be gone. In an items off match, those are not fair.
Okay, so it's just item dependent then. All right.
All right, that's good. I think we covered a lot. Let's move on to glitches.
Oh my god.
Here we go.
Get ready.
People don't believe me when I say he's the glitchiest character in the game, but I really have to say that he is.
Like I said before about the bounce pad getting at a touch of death, it's like a really weird glitch. Because I don't even know how to explain it.
The bounce pad has over 10 glitches that I see almost every match.
10, huh?
Simply be fixed by the increased startup.
So what are the 10, or what are all the glitches that? What are the things about it?
If you're being grabbed, then the bounce pad, if it's out, it'll reset your grab animation. You'll be able to attack while you're being grabbed. But basically, if you do if you put a bounce pad out at the same time you get grab, you're free to do whatever you want while you're still in the grab animation.
Okay.
And that's how you get out of grabs. Because the bounce pad right now, it resets any kind of character action. So you can walk up to someone that's blocking, put a bounce pad, and they're not blocking anymore because they're in the air.
And then you can
That's something I don't see
there.
too many people do.
That's pretty silly. But
So
yeah.
maybe something that'd be fixed was that it doesn't have those properties. It doesn't affect them if they're in a grab animation or
Well, like, okay, well, you said a lot of this stuff could be fixed by just, like, increasing the startup for it.
yes, by
Well-
small frames, so that's not such.
What would you say would be a good startup for it? Like, say, for example, like, when you spawn your fan, right? Like, okay, for everything that Sackboy spawns, he opens a little menu, and then the thing and then the thing, like, lands, right? So, like, what about, would it be...
Adding that so he opens
Make
the
it that,
menu
yeah, he
and
opens
bounce
up the
pad.
menu, and then it spawns, you know?
I don't think they'll take the time to add in that graphical thing. But I do
shots
believe
fired.
that it should just have increased startup so that he like places it, because he does have a little animation where he places a bounce pad like with his hands, but it's,
In the game?
it's not noticeable at all
Oh.
because of how fast it is. It just the animation goes like hyper speed, and he's just automatically in the air.
Yeah, I remember you showed me on Dreamscape when we got into the poison mist, and you're just, like, mashing.
Mash
and-
up circle, and you'll see how fast he's in the dream pit.
Right.
Hazard.
It's just a constant flow of light of you spawning things because they're disappearing immediately, and how little startup and cooldown that you have. Just like, I can just keep doing it.
Oh yeah. That's why it's so heavily abused, and it wasn't abused until after the patch.
Where his other tools took a hit.
His other tools got
Mhm.
slower, so now
Oh.
it's fast.
One thing I think we should cover: being able to jump out of after checkpoints,
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
For the for the super.
where you just like keep going higher and higher.
It has a ceiling height. Practice medium 1 is ridiculous.
And Practice Medium 1 is really gigantic. Like, I know on Columbia, on the top right platform, if you just double jump and do it, it'll disappear.
It disappears on most stages that at a very reasonable height. Just on the practice medium, practice small, practice large. It's crazy. It's just, so that's because if that's the 1v1 meta. That's why it seems ridiculous.
Okay, so it's the ceilingless stages that cause it. Then.
Just fix the height limit for it on most stages. It's fine on every other stage.
Okay.
Just not this.
Okay,
no,
that
I
makes
wasn't completely aware of that. Alright, that's fine then.
I think the next obvious one is the fan shock pad combo.
The glitch of that.
Mhm.
What is this
I think you
glitch?
get it back. You place the shock pad in front of you. You set a fan on top of the shock pad. You try to throw something over it, it'll disappear. This happened at the very beginning of the game. Like if your slide teammate put a mine right next to your fan, it would disappear. So
What would disappear? My mine would disappear?
No, the cake,
the
jelly.
or cake.
So like if you're on my team and you put a mine from my fan, everything would disappear.
Oh, your projectiles disappear.
Yeah.
Are they still there?
No.
Okay.
They vanish completely from the game.
So that needs to be fixed in order to make his camping game a little less bad if you're gonna sacrifice a few things from it.
What about any other glitches?
He has a invisible teleporter where you can't see it, but you can break it.
Right. You told me that you can just summon an invisible checkpoint at your leisure. Just like, I want an invisible checkpoint, and there it is.
It's not very much used at all, but it's still there. If you put it on a flat ground, it'll just disappear on a lot of stages. But it's still there.
How do you do it?
You just put it on flat ground and it disappears.
Yeah.
You don't jump. You just put it on the ground and it's invisible.
It was that simple?
It's that simple. It doesn't seem invisible on the player's screen, but it does on the other people's screen.
Oh man, good old netcode. That's like my mind being invisible. Like, it's just so silly.
And it also doesn't work on Vita. So, it's a really weird dependent glitch.
So it's a console-related glitch then, on top of that.
Yeah.
Another thing, console-related glitches Sackboy's had since the release. Sackboy's up triangle does not hit very many characters on the Vita. Which
Up
needs
triangle
to be
is which move?
It's the up jetpack. That's why I don't play competitive Sackboy on the Vita, because of that reason.
Also, on the Vita, his up grab, the triple up grab the triple grapple, it like doesn't work. Like you do it right, but it just doesn't. The input doesn't work.
It just doesn't work on Vita.
Yeah,
I'm
because I
just
remember
That's
suggesting
so
that
weird.
hitboxes be adjusted back to what they are on the PS3 on the Vita.
How about we have hitboxes that are the same on Vita and console as well?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Because I remember whenever I first heard it, I did on my Vita. I could not get it, and I gave up. I tried it on my PS3. First try, I got it. I was like, that's ridiculous.
Okay, that's quite a glitch.
He's glitched on the Vita pretty much. He's not viable competitively on the Vita because
Okay.
Does he have any other glitches? Like, visual glitches don't matter much. Like when he does the level 1, he's running around with a little skateboard on his.
yeah, that one should stay. I like it.
He has the one where he'll do a bounce pad, and it'll stick on him, and it actually works.
It works if you hit him one time. Like the bounce pad, you know how he holds out in front of him, the down square one, where he holds it out and it hits you away. Sometimes that comes out too fast and it stays on his body, and you can get a free hit on you, but after that, it just stays on his body,
And
but it doesn't hit you.
it worked through on, I don't know if it's on Vita, but on Vita, it'll stick on me, and people will touch me, and they'll bounce away.
Yes.
Wow.
That
It's
is
like a sticky bounce pad, but it's
Yeah.
not. You don't see it too much because it doesn't really work after the first time.
Does that sum it up for like super serious, gameplay glitches or?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
the
Alright,
bounce
so
pad has so many glitches. It's pretty much the glitch pad, and that if you fix that, then almost all of his glitches go away.
okay. That's
Okay, so I guess the only thing left to say is kind of like things to stress about Sackboy so that he's viable without being a super dominant force where, every 2 matches you'll see a set like 3 Sackboys, for example.
we don't. We need Sackboy to be more well-rounded rather than being all or nothing. 100 0 0 100, 100 0 0 100.
Right.
Like,
Combo ability.
Let's sum up the most important parts about Sackboy that you feel should be changed for like the overall health of the game, so that he doesn't invalidate every character or other characters don't invalidate him completely.
His combo ability needs to have less than 90% risk, because right now you have to gamble. Camping, that can shut down a lot of characters. The solution to that would just be to tone down his mobility of the bounce pad.
Because you really can't camp without it, because they get near you, you bounce pad away. But if they get real close to you and the startup is longer, it'll make you block or something, and it'll turn you more aggressive instead of just bounce padding away.
Bounce pad away, just making him keep away 100% of the time.
Yeah.
That can just be fixed with the bounce pad. Making his combos more viable will help him against those combo characters. I'm not sure what to say about the jetpack. That's a very bad move.
I also think Sackboy's neutral square, I think the first hit should be a little bit faster so you can punch people with it. Because I've seen where I try to do that, but characters
It's a little
walk so
slap.
fast,
It's a
and I
little
can't
2-hit
do
slap
it.
count.
Okay, the slap happy.
Oh yeah,
square,
I
square.
think that's the first hit should start out faster.
It should be more startups because you can actually AP burst from the slap happy. So if
It's
that could
hard,
be a
though.
good combo tool, then that would be fine.
Okay.
It's not easy to burst off of it, and you're only getting 130 AP from it.
Okay, and so for the level 3, it'd be to make it akin to Sweet Tooth and Nariko's, where they actually have to hit the person.
Yeah.
Instead of just touching.
Okay.
The suggestion that they should not respawn in bubbles is something
No,
I
that's-
don't want to see, and it's a very garbage suggestion. So please do not listen to that, because that's been suggested since the game came out, and it's a very terrible idea.
Right. Because it would just completely invalidate the point of the super, because it'd be like invalidating...
It would be one kill only.
It's like Drake's level 3 not respawning as a zombie.
Yeah.
Big Daddies, that you're not swimming anymore, you're just walking on the...
Yeah.
It would be one kill, so please do not do that.
Okay, so...
I think
Okay.
that
that
concludes
sums up
everything.
Yeah, that sums up our Sackboy podcast, and that was our Sackboy speaker, Crashbfan. Okay, he said Impact,
Amazing.
and Devin 3000, and me, and
We'll be signing off.